Are you planning a trip to Chiang Mai in Thailand? In this video, I'll talk you through exactly how I spent 3 days there, including feeding elephants, doing Muay Thai, bamboo rafting, and I'll tell you how you can make the most of your time there. I spent the first half of 2025 traveling around the world to amazing locations like Thailand, Philippines, and Indonesia, and having unforgettable travel experiences like skydiving, paramotoring, and even boxing a stranger in a bar in front of a big crowd. And I've got to say, it was the greatest period of my entire life. If you watched my previous video about Bangkok, you'll know that I was on a group tour for my trip in Thailand. And after we finished our stay in Bangkok, we jumped on a 10-hour overnight bus to arrive in Chiang Mai. And when we arrived at Chiang Mai bus station in the early hours of the morning, we got a mini bus. This took us to an elephant sanctuary called Happy Elephant Home, which is in the middle of the jungle in northern Thailand. So when we arrived there, the first thing we did was to check into the accommodation. Then they told us to put on this clothing. So the point of these clothes is that the elephants associate that whoever's wearing them is going to treat them well. In this sanctuary, a lot of elephants have come from places that haven't treated them well in the past and from very bad environments. So we got changed there and had a group photo. Then from there, the guide actually allowed us to use a machete to chop up our own watermelon. From here, we spent a lot of time feeding the elephants and interacting with them. It was pretty interesting, to be honest, to spend time with the elephants and interact with them in that environment that, you know, in England, you'd never be allowed ever to get that close to that sort of animal. At some points, you were sort of standing there thinking, well, this elephant could actually kill me if it really wanted to turn on me, because you're just standing in the middle of a field and you've got no real chance if it really wanted to turn on you. But luckily, these elephants were so friendly. I think there was about 4 of them. I can't remember any of their names now, but they were amazing to be around. And after we had a group lunch, the guide actually presented us with our own photo with the elephants, and this paper is actually made out of elephant poo. And this was in January of 2025, so this sat in my bag for another 6 months, and it kept pretty well. It's still in the wrapping and it's still intact. From that point, what we did is we walked the elephants down to the river and they bathed in the water, and that was a pretty cool experience to see the elephants in this environment, which they absolutely loved. At this point, it was heading into the evening, so we had dinner and settled down for the night. The accommodation was really basic, so we had to sleep in mosquito nets because they were everywhere, and even when you woke up in the morning, it was pretty freezing because in northern Thailand, it's pretty cold in the morning no matter really what time of year it is. And because we were all so tired still from the 10-hour bus the night before, we went to bed really early, and I woke up so early as well as a result. On day 2, we started with an early morning car ride, which took us to the Rainforest for a 2-hour hill trek, and that was definitely quite physically taxing. We had quite a big group, so we spent a lot of time getting that done. But we saw some great scenery, had a good time, and there might even been a few people who lost their footing on the way. At the end of the hill trek, we went into a local village and stopped for lunch, and the locals even cooked for us. And as we were having our lunch, they made bamboo rafts right in front of us, which we were going to use to float down the river. It was quite exciting being in one of these bamboo rafts, but I'm not so sure about the health and safety aspect of this to be a bit boring. It was quite dodgy at times, to be honest with you. The water was coming up at quite high levels, and the shoes and the bags were all attached to the bamboo raft, but they were slightly falling, and you just thought it was going to all fall in at one point. And there was a lot of times when the river was still and calm, and then you saw periods of rapids come ahead, which people sort of panicked a little bit for.
There's something break! Ah!
But we made it through, and it was a pretty fun experience, which I would love to do again. Apart from the fact that you're sitting upright for about 2 hours, so your back doesn't feel very good at the end of it. And also, one of my feet managed to get caught between the bamboo rafts, which cut it and really did not feel good. And at that point, I then lifted my leg in the air for about half an hour to an hour, so I wouldn't get it in the water to potentially risk an infection. But that was a pretty cool experience. So after that, we got in a car, headed back to Chiang Mai to a hotel called the Disham Hotel, and then we went on to have dinner at an Irish pub called the UN Irish Pub, which was really good. They sold Guinness. It was probably even more expensive for the Guinness there than it is in the UK because it is imported, but it was pretty nice, to be honest. We got to spend some time together as a group. And then into day 3, this day was sort of dedicated as a chill day or whatever you wanted to do, but I decided to go for a Muay Thai class. And it was a 2-hour session. It was the first Muay Thai class I've ever done in my life, and it was pretty intense. I think the warm-up probably would have been most people's entire workout of all the skipping, shadowboxing and bag work we were doing. And then into the afternoon, we moved on to a group cooking class, which I was absolutely dreadful at because I can't cook to save my life, but it was a great bit of fun, and it gave a lot of people a good few laughs, especially at my expense. Then into the evening, we headed to Chiang Mai Night Bazaar, which has loads of different markets, stalls and everything you want to look at. They were selling food, clothing, they were selling football shirts, which I was particularly interested, and they even had a bar there as well. I probably didn't even experience a quarter of what you can do in Chiang Mai, but the things I did do, I had an absolutely great time, and I would definitely recommend going back to Chiang Mai and trying out the things that I did and working out what you want to do as well. If you want access to all my content about how you start your own travel experience, go to the description below and click the playlist so you can watch all the content around guides, tips, and exactly what you can do in each location. If you enjoyed this video and want to support it, please click that subscribe button down below, and make sure you follow on Instagram and TikTok at I Wish I Did That Travel.